Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be talking Retribution Paladin, and specifically we're going to be giving a little bit of feedback to Blizzard here. And I like to do these videos, especially during it's right now the alpha. I like doing it during the beta, which is something I'm more likely to have access to, and talk about, feedback. And of course, it is important to actually honestly write down your feedback into like a forum post as well. And once I have access to beta, this will be part of the stuff that I put in there, especially if it continues to go this way. So we had another minor nerf to Rat Paladin earlier today, and this has been some nerfs going on with Rat Paladin. They've been minor mostly, but they're starting to add up, right? Really just the one that's kind of like a medium nerf, and then this one is a small nerf, but again, they're adding up. So let's talk about it. So the minor nerf, if you don't know, our defensives got nerfed. Basically, if you want to have two defensives, if you want to have Shield of Vengeance, essentially, both of your defensives are going to be a little bit weaker than what they currently are. Or you can bolster up your Divine Protection to be like a super defensive, like a 40% DR or something like that. So you can either have one really strong or two like mediums or whatever. And instead of now, we have two strong ones. So it is a nerf, but it's not something that we can't live with. So the big thing here is Crusader's Reprieve has been removed in this latest alpha build or whatever. So if you don't know what Crusader's Reprieve is, which I wouldn't fault you for, because you always have this selected pretty much, no matter what no matter what like loadout you're playing, and that's this ability right here. So this increases the range of your Crusader Strike, rebuke, and auto attacks by 3 yards, and it also heal you for 2% of your maximum health. So why is this a big deal? It's such a small amount. It's 2% healing it's 2% of your maximum health. It's only 3 yards distance. This is why it's a big deal for Ret Paladin specifically. So what they're doing is they said, well, we don't like that we increase the range of all the melee, and we want to put them back closer to the boss instead of playing like 5 yards off of the boss or whatever, right? And so they just did that to everybody, basically. This isn't just happening to us, it's happening to everybody. But there's a major problem with it happening to us because now we still have jurisdiction over here, right? For now we still have jurisdiction, which is increases, and our final verdict also has range still. So it's not all woe yet, but here's the thing. If they're going to go this direction and if they like reduce the range on our other abilities as well, let's say they keep going this direction, they said that they did not, this is what they specifically said, they did not augment our mobility and our mobility stuff for Rat Paladin, give us any more mobility or anything, because instead they're going to give us range on our abilities, and that will act as mobility. So being able to DPS a little bit while you're running out of a mechanic, right? Being able to Blade of Justice and turn around and hit a final verdict and then just keep running out or whatever. This was like this. So this is your mobility, is that you get extra range on your stuff. And to be fair, the bigger part wasn't touched. The auto attacks do matter though, because it allows us to play it a little bit further. So when we do have to run out or run somewhere, we're not running the full distance, right? As a class with terrible mobility problems. We don't have to run the full distance and having to still, once again, take 3 talents to get full mobility, which is just absolutely crazy. So that still exists. Now, remember, it was 4 talents. They lowered it to 3 talents to get full mobility. And so this is a big deal for us, and I want to bring it up because I think that they forget things like that, especially because when they did this rework. Now this is conspiracy theory, whatever, and the guy with all the yarn posted on the board with the thumbtacks and stuff, right? But what I believe, without any knowledge, I don't know anyone who works at Blizzard. What I believe is that the Paladin person either plays Holy or Prot, or not plays, but like primarily focuses on Holy or Prot, and I think it's Holy, right? And for the rework, I believe that they had help from the Demon Hunter guy, the Demon Hunter dev, the one that focuses on Demon Hunters, to help with the Retribution rework, because the Holy Paladin person didn't really know what direction to go to. They did the consecration thing in my opinion. If you don't remember, before Dragonflight was about to launch, we were about to play full consecration builds, which was just absolutely insane. So I think what could be happening here as well is being like, oh, well, I forgot, or I didn't remember, I don't know, that we were supposedly giving rep paladins ranged attacks to make up for the fact that they're slow. And if we get caught up in this whole pruning of melee range attacks, so if they nerf our Final Verdict range, nerf our Blade of Justice range, and still don't touch our mobility, which they didn't want to touch our mobility, they saved us one talent point, then they are effectively saying, okay, well, you're just back to where you were. And this is the scary part, right? This is the scary part. If you reduce our mobility even more, because having extra range does kind of give us a little bit of mobility. It gives us an advantage, in some ways. And so if you take that away, you already nerfed our defensives. So what happens when we have no mobility, no range, no defensives, and mediocre DPS, especially without the axe, right? The Farak axe. If you don't have that axe, you're going to notice that you're going to be doing mediocre damage compared to everyone else who has their weapons, even just the weapons with cantrips on them. Now, maybe if you have Ashkandir for single target, that can work out, but especially Mythic Plus, you're going to really notice the difference if you don't have that axe. So you're going to be doing mediocre damage, lower defensives, lower mobility. We're right back where we started before the rework. So what these people are thinking, I have no idea. Why would you go this direction? Now, there's still time. Maybe they're going to do something to our mobility. I don't know. Maybe there's another mobility talent that's going to be added. Maybe this will be condensed into one talent where you just take your horse and you get 2 charges of it and it lasts the appropriate amount of time. Or maybe they'll bring it down to 2 talents instead of 3. Down from the original 4 talents for mobility, by the way. So if they keep going this direction, we're going to be right back where we started. Mediocre DPS, no mobility, and just made of paper, basically. Now, we're still not made of paper. I'm being a little bit over dramatic with the defensive part, because as long as we get to keep sanctified plates, we're in a better place than we ever were before. So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'm not really crying about the defensive part, but when I see us going back, the path that we're going down is the path that we were on before, right? And so I don't want to be on that path. I want to be on any path other than that path. I don't want to be on the path where 1 out of 10 patches we have high damage, like AoE damage or something, right? Finally we have high damage, but we're paper thin. We bring nothing else, and we're just terrible, right? We die to anything, and it's just like, I don't want to be down that path again, man. That path stinks. Having this path of, I've been happy this entire expansion since the rework, because we're on a path where, hey, at the very least, guess what I can do? I can live through things. I can use my sacrifice, pretty willy-nilly in a way. Not willy-nilly, but just in a way where I don't have to worry too much if I use it. Whereas before this rework, right, if you use your Blessing of Sacrifice as a rep paladin, you were just kind of asking to die in a lot of ways. But now it's like, okay, no, I can actually use this and help somebody. I can save the healer, Mythic Plus, whatever, right? So, I like the path we were on, because at least it gave us an identity. We're this big, bulky melee class. Yeah, we're doing mediocre damage without the axe and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't want to go back where we were, man. Where we were was a terrible place. Some of the best rep paladins in the world weren't even playing rep paladin anymore, and a lot of them have come back to playing paladin since the rework, right, over the course of this expansion. And I don't want to go back to that path. I'll just keep saying that. And I'll touch on it too, since I brought it up, just the axe. I want to remind everybody that, just like DKs and Warriors, actually, we're being held up a lot by the Farak axe. And it's a very strong legendary after they buffed it multiple times, because it wasn't hyper strong when it first came out, but they buffed it multiple times, and especially for Mythic Plus, it's extremely strong. And I hope that Blizzard realizes that, especially Rep Paladin, we're a bottom 5 or so probably DPS without the axe. If everything else is equal, if talent's equal, everything's equal, right? or like a bottom 5-ish DPS without the axe. So I hope Blizzard understands that. I hope they understand it for the other specs too, but obviously this is about Rep Paladin. So yeah, that's kind of my feedback right now. You're taking us off a path that's fine, that a lot of people like, and you're kind of like, instead of even going to a new path, you're kind of like going back to the old path. And also just the general feedback about the axe kind of propping us up a little bit. So that's going to be it for this one. A bit of a negative video because it's just, I want to give this feedback. I get scared when I see us going down this path. So as always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. And other than that, everybody have a good one.